Hello, friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hey, Levi.
Hello, Jen.
Every time I launch into the intro, you yawn.
Because I'm tired of your old shtick.
I fucking knew it. All right, moving on.
You gotta freshen things up, Jen.
I'm not redoing the intro. It's muscle memory at this point.
Today, we are continuing on with the MSQ. We are playing through the quest Heart of Ice. Jen,
Ooh.
How was MSQing today on your hot new bike?
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay. Much better.
What did I do there? I asked you about a relevant topic to our interests.
Snuck in the fact that I've got the SDS Fenrir now, and I can move about much faster.
Yes, and do you like it?
No, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why this has to be a trick, but tricked you into liking a bike. I don't know.
Technically, it was your idea, so I was like, hey, Jen, talk about that idea that I had that was super good, that has made your life better.
Well, if we want to get into particulars, Jen, last time you were yelling at me for having superior mobility.
Correct, because you got the sightseeing point.
And we fixed that.
I still need to go back and get that. And hopefully it works and it's not a Jen skill issue, which totally also may be the issue.
Well, anyway, we got Jen an SDS Fenrir.
Woo!
Super fast bike.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Jen's bike aside, what happened last time on the MSQ, Jen?
Oh, okay. All right. We see a moogle, and we're like, what the fuck are moogles doing here? Or what is an moogle doing here? And we find a little area that probably has, like, moogles all over it, but nobody will talk to us. And Elfina was like, you know what? I think if there are moogles here, they're probably going to know that Hraesvelgr, like, what his schedule is like. So we should find a way to talk to these guys. And his idea was to go back to Gridania, talk to Connie Senna, have her communicate with the Twelveswood Moogles so we could get some Twelveswood Moogle assistance. And Kubla Kop was more than happy to help. And then Connie volunteered also to go to the Peak of Somal and talk to some Sky Moogles. So we do that. She shows up. We talk to the chief. All the Moogles are like, hey, we're visible because you have Moogle friends. And they make us do some tasks to prove that we're good people. And they're stupid tasks. And the chieftain acknowledges that they're stupid tasks. And at the end of the day, they give us a little horn that they blow to call Hraesvelgr down. And we are about to embark on our journey to where Hraesvelgr hangs out.
What is that place called, Jen?
Zenith.
Yeah.
Yes.
But first, before Zenith, we set out for Asa. We go down a long road through the churning mists, during which we have one encounter with a handful of dragons. Like big, winged, full-on dragon-ass dragons. We're done with all these, like, lesser dragonkin.
Yeah, no more Avises.
Or dragonflies, or...
Yeah, no, they're literally dragons.
Yes.
There's moss dragons and ice dragons and dragons.
Yes.
Stone dragons?
I think the moss dragons are the stone dragons.
No, I'm thinking of, like, there's another type called, like, Dragon Lord or something like that. They're big, beefy.
The Sky Lords.
Sky Lords.
Yes.
That's what it is, okay.
Yep.
But
at any rate, we beat them handily, and we truck on to Asa. Asa is a sturdy but crumbling stone bridge that connects two floating isles, sporting several tall towers. This was once a resting point for passing pilgrims on the way to Zenith, and despite that matching our description, we do not take a break at this location, even though we're about to rest. We have to keep on trekking for, like, 5 minutes more, then we break at the non-approved rest location.
We can't stop here. Let's stop in the middle of Bat Country.
Yeah.
Our chaperone right now is Moghan. This is the quote-unquote official alchemist of Mogholm. He leads us through the dragon-infested path to Asa. We do get accosted, but we're good, so it doesn't matter. Moghan notes that the dragons that got all up in our face, they seem a little bit nastier than usual, even. And also, we've got some really high winds going on right now. So, with the high winds, he knows that Hraesvelgr tends to descend to lower elevations to hunt. So, blowing the horn now will do absolutely nothing. So, let's camp out for the night, and hopefully the weather improves tomorrow. We decide to make camp. And Alfino is like, we're so close, half a mile close, which is extraordinary considering what we've been through so far. But he's like, fine.
The place we pick to make camp is this weird, super flat area. If that came through, Jin was just jingling her ice.
Did not mean to. Like, oh, you're talking? Let me just go ahead and make some noise.
Thank you, Jin. Anyway, we find this weirdly, absolutely level area inside some ruins. Well, it looks like an amphitheater. I'm just noting that the ground itself has not seen a whit of dust.
I'm waiting for a CE to appear.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just like dead grass in a big circular area, a big circular platform or dais or podium or something that was used for, I don't know, a sports ball game?
Yeah.
At some point.
Jin said sports ball. Jin loves them.
I'm so sorry. That's so cringy.
Anyway, also Jen, Iselle on the way here, both at Asa and also here, she's like, hey, check out that statue in the distance. That statue
like
of Shiva.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a large statue of a woman in prayer.
It's very likely.
Yes.
Very likely. Context clues and all that. Alfino relents. He's like, all right, obviously the wind is an issue. There's nothing we can do. This sucks. However, we should camp, and mayhap a brief respite from the hardships of the road will help clear our minds in readiness for the coming parley. Very well then, I believe a campfire is in order. And then he refers to his recent work history in gathering firewood, and off he goes into the dragon-riddled landscape alone.
He's gathered wood once in his life, and now he's an expert.
Absolutely. Leave the wood gathering to Alfino, everybody. And after he leaves, Estidian, wondering how Alfino has survived at all up to this point, asks us to follow him.
He's fine. We go...
He's okay.
We find some trents in random locations for some reason. There are no trents in general out here, just like these two guys we rustle up for some reason.
I don't know why they're not dragons. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But anyway, so we do, kill a couple treants, and Alfino returns with the firewood.
He's fine.
Despite his best efforts to get himself eaten. And Estinian says that the Ice Queen has filled a pot with what looks like stew ingredients. And we build a fire and we sit down for dinner.
The Ice Queen?
With the Ice Queen, yes. Okay, Estinian, fucking settle down. We understand how you feel. So we have a little quiet moment at camp. Our belly's full. Our little Moogle friend is fast asleep. And Alfino says, there's nothing quite like the simple pleasure of enjoying a campfire of one's own making. And Estinian is like, bro, once again, let's refer to your very recent history of barely being able to recognize firewood, let alone being able to build a fire. But, huzzah, kudos to you. So then we get this little cutscene, and I wish it had been voiced. I think it would have been amazing if it were voiced.
There is a dearth of voiced cutscenes in this whole area, which I feel like is a shame. Both here and at Mogcomb could have used more voice action. This expansion has plenty of high quality, high resource shit, but here needed a bit more oomph.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, because the stuff this is campfire confession time. There's something about sitting around a fire at night and staring into the flames that just makes you want to reveal your soul. Each of our party members, except for Moghan, because he's fine, he's clean as a whistle, he has nothing to confess. Each of us kind of goes into how flawed we are. Alfino talks about his privileged upbringing, sheltering him from his own ignorance. The talk of the firewood kind of triggered this whole thing. So his privileged upbringing in Sharlayan, he was the youngest person along with his twin sister to be accepted into the studium. And his father is a Sharlayan dignitary, extraordinarily wealthy, privileged, brilliant people. And that sheltered him from his own ignorance for a very long time, until such time that hubris invited manipulation and betrayal by way of the Crystal Braves. and then ultimately the demise of the Scions. And the fact that he can talk so candidly about this now, it says a lot about his healing journey and his path to self-forgiveness. Izel kind of chimes in like, hey, all of us are guilty of similar ignorance. How many men lay down their lives never knowing what it is they fight for, never questioning that which they have been taught to believe? Estinian. And Izel would have lived and died in ignorance, except for her chance encounter with Hraesvelgr, that revealed the truth, and a truth that drove her to do horrible things. But she would prefer to sin in the pursuit of peace rather than imagine herself virtuous. And I totally agree. So Alphina responds, I mean, if this journey has taught me anything, it is the importance and difficulty of holding to one's convictions in the face of failure, of striving always to replace one's ignorance with knowledge. And Estinian turns to him and says, well, young master, you are well on your way, which is like, holy shit, Estinian, this is a heap of praise from this guy. But when he was Alphina's age, he was a stupid kid swinging a spear around. And, even now he struggles to dispel the misconceptions under which he has labored his entire life thus far. And, but sitting amongst such grand ruins, how could he deny that man and dragon once lived together in peace? Like, it's a direct contradiction to everything he's ever been told. And despite all that, and regardless of how the Dragon Song War began, the war continues. Nidhogg killed his family, and no amount of truth will change that fact. He has the power to destroy a great wyrm by way of the eye, and he will when given the opportunity. Izel starts at this. She's like, Estinian, you gave your word. And he says, well, my word is predicated on the fact that your parlay is successful. So make sure you fucking succeed. And she says, you're damn right I will. And then we all go to bed.
After a nice camp, Moghan wakes and notes that the winds have shifted. So now is time to toot that horn. And he says, good luck, nice knowing you, and heads on home.
I'm like, what? Are we going to be okay?
We ascend up into that great cathedral-like structure that we sighted upon arriving in the churning mists, Zenith.
So this structure, it is technically a building, but just calling it a building feels weird. It's like this enormous, it reminds me of the Empress's castle from the Neverending Story. It's like one big open flower with some structure, like a platform inside of it, whatever. It's gorgeous, and I don't know, if anything was made out of cermet, it would be this. The fact that it survived this long, and literally everything else is just rubble.
Well, Jen, in respect for Hraesvelgr and Shiva's bond, the dragons have left this place well alone. It is free of their ravages. Also, the moogles here, Jen, are charged by Hraesvelgr with taking care of the place.
Aw, awesome. Okay, that's why they're everywhere.
And we will learn far more about that whole thing much later in the Allied Society quest. So stay tuned for that, Jen.
Great.
Yeah.
I will say also, when I got to the camp part of the story, and Zenith is kind of in the background. It's right there. It's huge. I was there right at 6 p.m. So it goes from day to night like that. And as soon as it hit 6 o'clock, that whole structure kind of just, it's the subtlest, softest glow emanating from the entire height of it. And I saw it went from dark and then it went to illuminated. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. That's all. That was a cool thing that happened.
Within the structure, we ascend to an oval-shaped platform high up inside. Atop this, we blow that horn. A whole tune, not just a toot.
Yeah, it's actually really pretty. I was expecting us to befoul the atmosphere with a like like Kuplo Cop did earlier.
He did great.
He did great, but it was not a very pretty reverent
Jim's being
noise.
so rude.
You know what I'm fucking saying, okay?
do.
All right.
Summoned by the sound, Hraesvelgr himself descends. A great white worm, his scaled wings transitioning to feathers, and he has only one yellow eye. The other socket is empty.
Curious.
Hraesvelgr.
S in Waymorn
By the 12. Mine ears hear the tongue of dragons, yet the meaning rings clear within my mind. How can that be?
Immediately he asks, "Hey guys, why are you bothering me?"
A way to undersell it.
I know. I mean, imagine it in the speech and the tenor of a great worm.
We
Mortals.
might, Jen, because this is a voiced scene, despite there being very few actual voices.
Yeah, sorry. I tried to be not flippant in my note taking here.
We appreciate
in the interest of brevity, but so Hraesvelgr appears and asks why we are disturbing his peace. He is simply biding his time until oblivion takes him, and he really would like us to go away. Not in a what's the guy, the old man from Up? Not in a curmudgeon-y, dismissive, like, my heart hurts, I don't want anybody to see my pain kind of a way, but in a, I'm just so very fucking tired. And I'm not, like, a big fan of you. So Izael, this is her moment, steps up and asks if, Hraesvelgr, do you not remember me? I'm the woman to whom you revealed the truth about the past and about Shiva. And at the mention of Shiva, her name, Hraesvelgr becomes enraged. Like, how dare you speak her name? And at this point, because this is my second playthrough and because I know what I know, this was hard to watch. So anyway, she comes across as like completely delusional. Mm-hmm. But anyway, she continues. But speak it I must.
I have summoned Shiva's soul from the beyond and offered myself as her vessel. She has made her heart known to me. I have surrendered mine to her. Do you not see, my love? I am Shiva reborn.
And Hraesvelgr, foolish girl, thinkest thou my beloved's spirit hath descended from the heavens, that the secrets of her heart are thine to know? Izael persists. Do you not see, my love? I am Shiva, reborn. And, like, I was crawling out of my skin at the, like, she's just, her ass is out. I'm sorry. Like, it's devastating what she's doing. Ay. Hraesvelgr now has to put Izael in her place, so to speak, and reveal even more devastating truths to her about the nature of her relationship with Shiva. The light but illuminated the past for thee. It did not grant thee omniscience. The spirit that dwells in her is not Shiva, but a shade created by her own fancy. Much like his kin did in the past, who were guilty of the same folly. They were manipulated by the Dark Ones, the Ascians. That was my read on it. I'm assuming that's true. In summoning their fallen brood brother.
This is Bahamut.
Okay. So they were told, hey, do this thing. You're going to get your brood brother back, and he's going to fight the good fight on your behalf. But it was merely a shade of him, a facsimile conjured from tainted memories and misplaced faith. Nothing was summoned. It was created. Thy soul hath been corrupted by a deity of thine own making, child. And in a matter of seconds, Izel experiences all the stages of grief and collapses.
She's out at this point in time. Her whole reason for being at this point is shattered.
Mm-hmm.
She's out of the conversation. Her shot is shot, and she's like, all right, I cannot
Hraesvelgr
process this.
Just Shaquille O'Neal'd, like,
But
boom, no.
Alphino is here to carry the day. Shiva or no, we are still here to end the war. Join us in a call for peace and forgiveness. But Hraesvelgr will not hear it. Thou wouldst speak to me of peace. Hark thee, mortal, to the naked truth. Then tell me thou deservest forgiveness. 1,200 years passed. Shiva's sacrifice brought an end to the war between man and dragon. 2 centuries of harmony followed, during which the Elezen learned much of dragons, including that their eyes are the wellspring of their power. King Thordan coveted this power, even at the cost of peace. So they lured Hraesvelgr's brood sister, Ratatoskr, into an ambush, slaying her and stealing her eyes, and they consumed them on the spot, feasting on them in the manner of wild beasts, and they gained those eyes' power. Nidhogg was the first to learn of this betrayal and sought vengeance, slaying Thordan and some of his knights. But the now practiced dragon slayers defeated Nidhogg, sending him from the field. And so began the Dragon Song War. Estinian calls this out as being a convenient story, so it was all the Ishgardians' fault, was it? But Hraesvelgr does not care what Estinian believes. This betrayal is no less than truth to his kind. What you consider to be a war of extinction is not that. It is a punishment, a siege of the spirit. Those who tire of the torment may side with dragonkind, the so-called heretics. For, thanks to the essence of Ratatoskr passed down to all Ishgardians from those that slew and consumed her, any Ishgardian who consumes a draught of dragon blood is transformed into one, awakening her essence. This horrifies Alphino. Think of all the dragons we've killed. They could have been former Ishgardians. I would say this shows Alphino's bias, as we know dragons are sentient beings.
Right.
Former Ishgardians or no, but either
Yeah.
way, that is what he says.
It's still, I mean, this is still a lot to take in. Like, we know, what we know, but and also the fact that as soon as Hraesvelgr said that, if, the people who switch loyalties essentially, or they tire of the Holy See and they're like, fuck the Holy See, I'm going to be a heretic. They are given the blood to drink. And in one of our skirmishes with the heretics back before Izel was, started working with us, we saw that happen live. One of the heretics drank blood and became a dragon. And Alphino all of us at that point thought it was just like magic.
Yes.
Yeah. But no.
But no.
So how much of Nidhogg's army at this point are former Ishgardians?
Hraesvelgr states that one by one, through death or defection, my brood brother shall account for all of the betrayer's children. Estinian had wondered why Nidhogg had not raised Ishgard. By his reckoning, it is in the dragon's power to do so. But the answer is that victory is not the goal, just suffering. Hraesvelgr confirms, for a wyrm such as Nidhogg, that history is yet part of his present, as fresh as the blood that did gush from Ratatoskr's wounds. How could he not be driven mad? 'Tis only by the calming embrace of Shiva's soul that mine own fury hath not consumed me.
And so now Izel, I think, has spent a little bit of this time reconciling what she's been hearing. And she jumps up and she cries, I have not come this far only to admit defeat. We can still return the eye to Nidhogg and beg forgiveness for our ancestors' crimes. Mayhap our words will sway him. Okay, did you not hear what he just fucking said? Like over the last 7 minutes? So the passage of time, again, for a dragon versus us is different. What happened 1,000 years ago may as well have happened an hour ago. And then at this point, Hraesvelgr is like, I'm so done with you all. My patience with your kind is long spent.
My faith, which is important.
Oh, yeah. My faith in your kind is spent, and I would be alone.
And he flies off. Just like that.
And so that was quite a smackdown. Total annihilation.
At this point, Estinian seems to realize the truth of Izel's story and of Ishgard's betrayal. He has been softening for a while we traded with dragons and seeing the ruins from before the Dragon Song War. He brushed off the ones in the Forelands as being some weird, Dravanian psyop, but he can't quite argue with the ones in the Churning Mists, in a place not seen by humans for centuries.
Right.
But even so, his loyalty lies with Ishgard. With our attempt at peace failed, now it is time for battle. Nidhogg's Eyrie is near, and the eye tells him that the wyrm himself is close. Izel is mortified. After all we just learned, you would continue this war? But Estinian is not continuing it. He is ending it, piercing his vengeful heart. And Alphino protests, if you truly believe Nidhogg capable of raising Ishgard, what chance do we have? Well, we have his eye for one. In close combat, this will afford us an advantage.
And with two Azure Dragoons working in unison, who can say what might be possible?
A validation Jin in a voiced line.
There we go.
At last.
Yay! He said it.
The story of this nation grows bloodier by the moment. Must death always be answered with more of the same?
Such is the way of things, I fear. I shall consider it a miracle if mine armor is not stained crimson ere this conflict is ended.
Estinian strides off, and we follow, kind of drawn in by Estinian's determination, even though we don't seem to be fully down with his plan. We look back briefly at Izel, lost in her own despair. But Estinian says to leave her. We have not the time to wait for her to gather up the pieces of her shattered faith.
Yikes. I mean, this is a man on a mission. He's been on a mission his entire life. He's not about to start offering hugs. So, on brand. And right after Hraesvelgr leaves, Alphino is like, okay, well, that was humiliating. We were dismissed like unruly children. And yeah, the shit you were saying was beyond naive and essentially suicidal. But it proved that our mission was doomed to fail from the get-go. There was absolutely no hope. We'd had a gross misunderstanding of Nidhogg's perspective and the perspective of the Great Worms just in general. Nothing will deter Nidhogg from his course except for his death.
And that's it for today. Any closing thoughts on the MSQ, Jen?
So, we're all a bunch of sweet summer children here, aren't we? Izel is like, oh, Shiva, she came to me, and I opened up my body and my heart and my soul to her, and we are as one, just as you and Shiva are one, Hraesvelgr. We are simpatico, Jesus fucking Christ. And Hraesvelgr is like, no, girl, all of this is your own delusion. This is your imagination. This is what you desperately want this to be, and so you've made it happen, which is incredible. She's turned herself into a primal, and I'm wondering,
more so than that, she also tempered herself with her own primal, and he calls her out as such.
which is interesting because she has the echo. She should be immune.
It's a statement from one perspective, but he does say that Izel has been made essentially to submit to the will of her own god that she created. He could be wrong, but either way,
well, that makes sense because she feels so. It's like it's not her. Obviously, it's some other entity that she has very little control over, right? That's perspective. It's not her doing this. It's Shiva doing this.
Sure, that's the story that she tells everyone.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, and herself. And then, Alfina was like, this war just, it's death, it's killing, it's vengeance, it's just non-fucking stop. And Estinian is going to like, no, it's going to stop. I'm going to pierce his vengeful heart. And then once Nidhogg is dead, then there will be no more war and everybody's going to be fine. I'm like, bitch. Again, this is idealistic and naive, just as at the same level as Azel and the rest of us who were on this cockamamie mission to begin with. Like, so you kill Nidhogg? Great. The Holy See still exists. Do you think that for 1 second after Nidhogg dies, that they're going to cease their propaganda? Like, all of their religion, their government, the structure of their society, their entire culture is predicated on this lie, and you think for one point, ever, that the Holy See is going to relinquish that control, will ever back down from that messaging? No! They will perpetuate with their own bullshit. No, dude, you're going to kill Nidhogg and that shit will still happen. But if it makes you feel better right now in this moment, go for it, because he's got trauma and he's on his own mission for vengeance, which I totally understand. He needs to avenge his family, but that isn't going to end shit, dude. That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Jin.
You're welcome.
Well, that was all very somber. Let's leave on a lighter note with some Moogle action.
Moglio!
The bridge
Moglio!
Asa is
Moglio!
filthy with Moogles. These guys are Hraesvelgr's dutiful servants, doing their best to maintain these crumbling monuments to history. Being Moogles, though, they of course need some help. We get our standard kill and fetch quests here, nothing worth discussing in detail, though we do learn something, that there is some friction between Hraesvelgr's and Nidhogg's domains. They are not at peace, and Nidhogg's dragons do invade Hraesvelgr's domain from time to time, meaning that we're called upon to fend off some encroaching, angry dragons. I do feel like, Jen, Hraesvelgr does not seem the type to really care at this point in time about these ruins. So either he still has a soft spot for these monuments to his history and his beloved, or he told the Moogles at some point to help out and they just kept trucking because he's not told them to stop.
Yeah.
Great. Jin is not impressed by this tragedy, but whatever.
The tragedy of what the Moogles maintain.
Having this cause for an uncaring...
He's not uncaring.
Distant... He's uncaring in that he does not have the energy to care, not in that he is dismissive, Jin. It's more like, I am done with these mortal affairs. I'm waiting to die. Peace.
That doesn't mean he should... nor should the Moogles continue to just allow things to decay.
The Moogles having this duty does not feel in character for Hraesvelgr as we know him from that interaction just now. And it feels like they were charged with this some time ago and they're trucking on because they feel like this is their responsibility.
Well, it's also maybe he would like this to persist as long as possible, even after he's gone.
I doubt the ruins will outlast him, but we're speaking in hypotheticals here.
Right. Anyway, Moogles and silliness.
So we do some fetchy bullshit, whatever. But also, of course, we have Moglio, the real main character of this area.
Our palm guard hopeful. This little ball of hope, and not piss and vinegar, but he's really concentrated on helping his kind. He's just a little ball of fluff. How effective can you be? Well, not very, as we've seen. But gosh darn it, he's out there asking people how are they doing and if they need any help. And he finds a zooming Moogle that seems a little distraught. Our friend here, the zooming Moogle, went on a bit of a bender recently. Literally, he's like, I've been binging for like 4 days. Just running around, drinking, carousing or whatever the fuck Moogles do when they're on one. But a friend of his loaned him a very cool knife made from the spine of a wagered. And when he said spine, I thought like the literal, like the vertebra, I'm like, oh, that's brutal. That's metal as shit. But no, it's like a Stegosaurus spine.
That's also metal, Jim.
It's also, absolutely. It's not as metal as my original imagination, but that's fine. So he had his friend's knife and he's going around and he's drinking and he's carousing, like I said,
Jen,
and he
why
loses it
is this knife so special?
because it's his friends.
Because it's sharp enough to cut through a kupo nut.
Ah, okay. I mean, I can see how that would be important in the life of a Moogle. Moglio says, not to fear, my good friend. We will find that wagered and we will deal with it for you. We're
going to make him a new knife. The wagered, we're going to find a poor wagered.
Yeah. So, bro lost his friend's knife and he's like, I can't go back to my friend without his knife. I'm like, okay, we got you. We'll kill a wagered and bring you a spine and have you whittle him a new one.
Hey, Jen, what is a wagered?
I was like, what is this word? I've never seen this word. It's one of the dragon type scale kin dealy bobs.
Exactly. Nailed it.
Cool. They look just like the Pisces.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Around Little Alamigo. They're much smaller. So we go out and we find them and Moglio was like, oh my god, hark. Wagets.
So we can only harvest a spine from a living wagered, which becomes even more metal. Apparently they all self-destruct or become brittle or something upon death.
So the strategy that Moglio has come up with is we will engage the wagered in battle, and when they're not looking, he's gonna roll up and like yoink the spine right out of the guy,
which seems very painful for the wagered.
Correct. Do they come out like feathers? I doubt it. I feel like there's
flesh
hella like
there.
Maybe tendons or
like pulling a tooth.
Something. Yeah, it's not gonna feel great.
I'll come to your tooth.
Anyway, that's his plan. So we go out and we're like, all right, here we go. We engage the wagered in battle. We fight it. We return to Moglio and he's like, I couldn't get it. Slippery. Do it. Okay, one more time. I feel like I've really kind of nailed the strategy now. It's going to work. Okay, go. So we find a second wagered. We fight the second wagered. We talk to Moglio afterward, and he's like, still just real slippery guy. Okay. This time's going to work. I just have a feeling. Of course it works because it's the third one. But we go and we fight a third wagered, and he's like, success. I've plucked the spine out of the back of the beast, and we can save our friend Zooming Moogle.
So the second one, he says that was like a bad one anyway. Those spines were trash.
Okay, all right, fair enough. You know what? I'm not a wagered pro. I just saw one. I'm like, I'll fight that one. Yeah, I couldn't judge whether the spines were good or not. Anyway, Moglio's tutelage there was critical, and we found the appropriate spine, and we went back to his Zooming Moogle friend, and we were like, hey, how you doing? He's like, I'm okay. And then Moglio was like, I bet you're doing awesome now. Shing! And he shows him the spine. And friend is like, oh my god, that's even sharper than the one I had before. Hell yeah. So we did it.
And with that, another Moogle's worries are washed away. But there's still more work to do, Jen. We have more Moogles to save.
Yes.
And we find another one up at Zenith. Here,
I didn't follow him to the second one. I just
party foul.
Assumed that it would be
because after Zenith, they now go northeast towards Nidhogg's domain, Jen. So you skipped a step on Moglio's journey.
Well, I'm not going to skip it. I just didn't do it this time.
Skipped it for the recording, which may as well be nothing.
Fine.
Also, Jen's drinking her noisy drink, so apologies if that's coming through on the audio. I will cut out the slurp Jen just made. I will not subject you to that loud sound.
Yeah, it's not great.
Great. Anyway, yeah, so we continue on with Moglio to Zenith, and there we find an unmoogled Moogle. That seems harmful, but whatever. Oh,
wait, like his palm is gone? Or
the
what?
name is unmoogled Moogle.
Oh, shit, okay.
I assume it means he's lost his senses or something similar. He's lost his mojo.
Okay. The Moogle mojo?
Yes.
Yeah.
He is despairing, and Moglio goes, what's wrong, Kupo? What don't do? Direct quote.
What don't do?
What don't do?
Uh-oh.
The Moogle came here because the flowers here are so lovely, and he's been watering the flowers without fail until these dragons came on in and tromped all over the garden and scared off the unmoogled Moogle. That's how he lost his Moogles.
Oh, goodness.
He's like, hey, dragons, don't do that. This is pretty rude. And the dragons tried to eat him. And so now he has no real option but to go back home, but he can't go back home because it's full of scary dragons. He wants to go back to Asa to clarify. Asa.
Okay.
But there's dragons on the way, so he wants an escort. And Moglio says, well, guess what? I am a Palmsguard hopeful, and I can escort you on the way back.
Yeah.
So we get to work. And we have 3 encounters on the way back to Asa. I say it weird every time.
Yeah, you're right. It's like Asa. We're based on shitty American English phonetics.
Also that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Asa here. We head back to Asa. We have 3 encounters on the way. And these encounters, both the unmoogled Moogle and Moglio, they both cower while we fight off a dragon. And of course, Moglio is full of reasons why he just couldn't quite do it that time.
Mm-hmm. There's a snake in my boots.
He didn't have the strat down the first time, but he's got it now. So next time he's ready for a thumping. Further down, all right, not quite though, but I've got my bearings now. So next time for sure. And then finally, he almost had it. Just a couple more swings of his sword and he would have had them done. But you stepped in, Warrior of Light, to help. So good on you. And we have succeeded in bringing our Moogle companion back to Asa.
Aww.
He is now re-Moogled.
Yay! Okay, unmoogled means loss of community, apparently.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Moglio says, we have done it, but I'm ashamed that I was not quite strong enough to do the task on my own. When the dragons let out their terrifying roar, I could do nothing but cower in fear. But he shall not falter again. The only thing to do is to try harder next time.
Aww.
So we're off now to the northeast to find more unmoogled Moogles and to help Moglio find his Mujo.
Which I hope he finds. He's already got a ton of mojo. Let's be real. He's bold in ways that the other Moogles aren't. But he's still just a tiny white ball of fluff with a pocket knife and a bandana.
Yeah. But we
Maybe
know,
that's
Jen,
enough. Maybe that's enough.
we know from the Good King Mog fight, Jen, that Moogles can have some punch.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get Moglio into magic school, I think.
Possibly.
Yeah.
And that's it for today. Anything, Jen?
I mean, this was a lot for our friends. You know, from Fireside Confessional to having your entire belief system dismantled in front of you, like in seconds, by one of the first brood. Brutal. And
brutal.
Also, something we did not mention at the very beginning of this episode, when we were saying our goodbyes to Moghome and Connie Senna and her retinue. Connie Senna, after everybody walks away, Connie Senna pulls us aside and she tells us to keep an eye on Estinian, because despite his stoic facade, there is a maelstrom inside of that man. There is much agony within him. So
I thought we knew that.
We didn't say it. I mean, that's the subtext always. But Connie saw that shit for having very little time spent in his presence.
Fair.
She's a seedseer. So anyway, he no doubt. I mean, this affected us all very strongly, and I Azelle and Estinian, I think most of all. Alfino, more of a, once again, coming to terms with a failure in the mission. This whole thing was his idea after all, and it was kind of a Hail Mary. And to know that it was doomed from the beginning sucked. I think his actual quote, let's see. Yeah, here we go. So right after Hraesvelgr leaves, Hraesvelgr was every bit as awe-inspiring as I imagined. His voice fairly dripped with power, the will behind his words so undeniable that it transcended my ignorance of the dragon's tongue. This is how we understood it. 'Tis but a pity that I misliked what he said. So far did we travel, even unto the very heavens themselves, only to be dismissed like unruly children. And far from mitigating this humiliation, the hidden truths we have learned serve only to prove that our grand mission of peace was destined to fail from the first. So we're all hurting. Estinian pretends like he isn't. He's like, I'm gonna go kill Nidhogg now. Later, suckers. But, man, we saw vulnerable Estinian. We saw him making a little joke. We saw him reaching out to Alfino, telling him, hey, you're doing a great job, dude. But then, boom, the wall is back up after we meet with Hraesvelgr. Honestly, I think the dismantling of his entire belief system, like everything he's ever known, he's handled it well up to this point, but who knows? Who knows how he's going to, crumble in the future.
He's coasting on spite.
Hey, you know what? Whatever works, but don't... Anyway, we're going to keep an eye on him.
Well, we will next time when we continue on with the MSQ. So we will see you then.
And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And wouldst thou deserveth getting in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. You can also find us on Blue Sky at podreturnffxiv. And check the show notes for our Discord. You can join us for some group runs, some group content, share pictures of your pets, memes, say hi, don't say hi, hang out, whatever. It's a really, really wonderful group of people, and they would love to have you. We would love to have you. And last but not least, our Patreon, patreon.com/podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you get access to all the other stuff that we do. That includes the Final Fantasy XI series, Vanity Van Splainer, some of the seasonal episodes from 14. We have episodes about the card game, the tabletop, just like random stuff. So check it out. And big, big, big thank yous to the folks who have supported us thus far. We really appreciate it. We love you. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.